So today I'm looking at some exercises for left hand alignment. And we'll talk a lot about the technique of aligning the left hand, but also just how the exercises relate to the technique. I'm using a couple of exercises from my new technique book. You can find a link to that PDF ebook underneath the video, but you can also just follow the lessons for free, and you can learn a lot about technique just by following the lessons, or you can just imitate what I'm doing, but feel free to check out the book. The book also has a ton of right hand exercises and other exercises for slurs and stretches and shifts and scales and arpeggios, just the whole thing. So the first exercise is a basic 4-finger position from the alignment exercises for the left hand. Now, the first exercise is pretty straightforward. It's just 1 finger per fret. And if you're having trouble reading the notes, don't worry about it too much. Just 1 finger per fret, so you can really pretty much just read the fingering and string numbers. So this one is in 5th position, so we go to the 5th fret with our first finger. And then the first exercise is quite simple, but don't overlook it. So it's a very simple exercise, but it's something that everyone does need to practice, and I warm up with it every day. Keeping the knuckles aligned with the strings, keeping every finger curved at every joint in the finger, playing on your fingertips every time. I know that many students are guilty of the 4th fingertip. I mean, every guitarist is kind of guilty and needs to work on that. Getting that 4th finger to curve and play on its fingertip. But you can also work on relaxation. You can work on speed. There's tons of different things that you can do. Like with the open string exercises for the right hand that I talked about in a previous video, you can ask yourself some questions like, can I do this as well as a professional? Could I be more legato? Could I be more relaxed when I play? Could I be more confident? Could my tone be better? There's all these different things. Am I playing close to the fret, or am I buzzing sometimes because I'm not close to the fret? There's so many different things that you can work on with a simple exercise. With this one, I would recommend keeping your fingers down, and just remember to keep your fingers down even when you go across the string, just for a second, so that this note connects to that note. And besides that, it's more just like an accuracy thing and getting comfortable with it and getting relaxed. And then after that, it's a maintenance thing. So making sure we can maintain being on our fingertips. And just make sure that all through the whole exercise, you're on your fingertips the entire time. The second exercise is the 1st and 4th finger focus. So same exercise, but only using 1 and 4. I focus on 4 a lot because students often play like this, and then they reach out the 4th finger. So really focusing on the 4th finger, getting that knuckle in, getting all of those joints curved is so important. So really focus on your pinky position as much as the other notes. The next exercise is, again, uses all fingers, but it focuses on the 4th finger. And like I said, it's 1 finger per fret, so if you're having trouble reading, just follow the fingerings very carefully and just make sure you keep them on their respective frets. So all fingers with 4th finger focus goes 4, 3, 4, 2, 4, 1, 4, 3, 4, 2, 4, 1, 4, 3, 4, 2, 4, 1, 4, 2, 4, 1, 4, 3, 4, 2, 4, 1, 4, 3, 4, 2, 4, 1, and then you could go back down through the strings using the same pattern. That constantly engages the 4th finger, which is a really good idea because it's just so essential that your hand not be like this, but instead that you're swinging this around, getting this knuckle close to the guitar, curving that finger. And just really working all the different strings, making sure that you're keeping good alignment the entire time. The two-fingered focus that comes afterwards just focuses on two adjacent fingers at a time. So for example, 4-3. And you might think like, well, didn't the other exercises kind of cover that already? But the truth is, it's like there's something more exposed about just doing that than doing all the fingers. There's less security from having all the fingers down. You know, and it's like it's harder for me to stay right on my fingertips. So I have to focus a little bit more. So each of these exercises just makes you focus in a different way or strengthens a different aspect of your technique. There's also 4-2 or 4-1 or 3-2. Whoops. Or 3-1. All the way up and down to the strings, 2-1. So just all the different finger combinations. But just remember, even when you're using like 1-2, don't let these fingers slack off. They should be up over the string. If you're on the 6th string with 1 and 2, 3-4 should be hovering over the 6th string as well. The 6th string as well. And when they move down to the 3rd string, for example, they should be hovering over the 3rd string. They shouldn't be hovering down here or off to the side like this. They should be around as if they're about to play, no matter what fingering combinations you're using. This next exercise, left-hand finger clearance, is one of my favorites because when I send students home, the exercise will correct the student without me there. So what you do is you play that same 4-finger group, but you're going to play the open string above it. So like if I'm fretting the 2nd string, you're going to play the 1st string above it. After each note, you'll play the open string. The thing about that is that if you're using a bad hand position and you're tucked over like this, that note will be muted out and it won't sound. And so it'll immediately tell your brain, like, I gotta correct something. And it'll force you to go more on your fingertips. Now, be careful that you're not compensating by throwing your wrist out and going like this. Instead, bring your palm in towards the neck, which will force your fingers to curve more. And the more curved your fingers are, the more they'll be on their fingertips. And then you don't have to outstretch your wrist and have like a big bend in your wrist. Your wrist can be relatively straight, but your fingers will be very curved at every single joint. And you can go through the strings like that. So when you play the 3rd string, you're playing the 2nd string open. When you play the 4th string, you play the 3rd string open. When you play the 5th string, you play the 4th string open. That exercise. Horizontal clearance, same exercise except that we're going to be working horizontally. So we'll do this on the 3rd string and you're essentially going to play a chromatic scale. But you're going to play the open string above it. So if you're playing the 3rd string, then you'll play the 2nd string open. Down, etc., etc. That's a tough exercise because it's really easy to accidentally mute it out. It's just like a millimeter difference between this and that. You have to make sure that you have the clearance that you won't be muting out a string. And then there's the next page is just more horizontal exercises. So just tons of different combinations like 1, 4, 2, 4, 3, 4, 1, 4, 2, 4, 3, 4, 1, 4, 2, 4, 3, 4. Again, with these exercises, if you have trouble reading the notation, just follow the fingering. You just grab the pattern, 1, 4, 2, 4, 3, 4, and you move it up a fret. 1, 4, 2, 1, 4, 2, 4, 3, 4. 1, 4, 2, 4, 3, 4. 1, 4, 2, 4, 3, 4. And then you try to just do it continuously. And a lot of my patterns really focus on the fourth finger, but there's about 5 patterns here. So there's 4, 1, 3, 1, 2, 1. It focuses on the first finger a lot. 4, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1. Same thing with the next one. 1, 4, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Just remember that as you shift, the arm just moves the hand around the guitar. Your thumb should be behind the second finger the entire time. So even every time you move, even if it's just 1 fret, thumb should remain behind that second finger the entire time. You just release the energy and shift up by moving your arm up. And then your hand just feels the same the entire time. So lots of things to work on with those exercises. And of course, if you're new to the guitar, check out my left hand technique article and lesson on This is Classical Guitar, because it just talks more about how to actually position the hand. These are exercises to work on that, but you can combine the 2 lessons to get an understanding of how I teach my students. So I'll be doing tons more lessons from this book. It's 122 pages, and there's hundreds and hundreds of exercises. So I'm going to be going through lots, so you can just follow along for free and gain information, or buy the book and start working on these exercises yourself. Thanks.